It's been a tough few years for KwaZulu-Natal. The residents there have faced economic hardship brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, the looting of monies, and indeed the latest element being the floods. Now, many children in the province are reported to be suffering from malnutrition. According to the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group, the cost of the Durban household food basket for the month of April was 4,583 rand. Now, for more on this, we're joined by Mervyn Abrahams, the program coordinator for the group. Mr. Abrahams, thank you very much for your time. Just give us, firstly, your reaction to the news that some children have now passed on as a direct result of malnutrition and basically hunger.
Good morning, Colleen. Good morning to all your viewers. It is a sad indictment on our country that we have gotten to the stage where the Sunday Times reports that 50 children in KZN, but 199 countrywide, during the month of January and February have passed away as a direct consequence of hunger. We have warned that this is on the rise for some time, and unfortunately our warnings have not been taken seriously by policymakers. Because when you look, for instance, at the child support grant, which is very well placed, which is really distributed very well to households, but it is much too low. So the child support grant is 480 rand. It costs 800 rand to feed a child. And so we see that level of poverty and insecurity has now resulted in 199 deaths, 50 of which is in KZN. And if the situation continues, we will probably see much higher rates as the year progresses.
Yeah, you talk about policymakers. I remember not so long ago, the Minister of Finance, I think he was speaking through Parliament, suggesting that they were trying, or they were going to put a cap on the increases in the fuel price, and this as the fuel increases were starting to really become destabilized as a result of the situation that's going on in Ukraine. Have they been able to make good on that promise as policymakers? Because the reason we talk about the fuel price is that it is basically the very reason why you had food prices go up. It does have that knock-on effect.
Yes, so we have to say that the attempt on the part of government to kind of keep the price of petrol stable has had some effect. Some effect in the sense that it has meant that our basket, for instance, between March and April of this year increased by only 2%. However, the impact of fuel, important as it is not sufficient to keep hunger away from the door of those who are poor. What they require is, in fact, sufficient income and money to purchase the food that they need in order to feed their children. And that is why malnutrition are increasing. It's increasing because the levels of household incomes and the grant system is much too low to kind of protect our children from hunger.
Yeah. And what would your call be to organizations that are able to help in this situation? The only organization I have in mind right now is the Gift of the Givers. They're just the people that I think become mostly relied upon when the times of crisis do come about. We're urging closer to a figure of nearly 200 children around the country, just 50 alone in KZN. As you have mentioned, that's a crisis.
That is a major crisis. When you look at this number, I mean, 50 is about just over or just less than 10% of those who had died in the floods. So KZN is going through a traumatic time. I mean, as you've said, it's COVID, it was the looting last year, it is the floods now, it is hunger, children dying. So really what we're calling upon is upon all social formations, whether it be churches, whether it be NGOs, whether it be ordinary families, to begin to, in the intermediate time, to see that we can get food to those families who do not have food. That's the first step, and we need to do it today. And then thereafter, we're going to have to really talk about that the child support grant must be set at a level that will be able to buy sufficient and nutritious food for children. If we do not have that, we will continue to see child deaths increase in our country.
Mervyn Abrahams, let's leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for your time. And it is a heartbreaking situation. You've heard him confirm those figures. Nearly 200 children around the country have died as a direct result of malnutrition. In KZN alone, 50 children as a result of hunger. He is from the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group.